Hi guys, my name is Brian Leni of juniorstockreview.com. Welcome to day 2 at the Metals Investors Forum. And with me is Zach Flood, CEO of Kenorland Minerals. We've had a great start to the day, great presentations and Q&A. Zach, why don't you start off with an overview of Kenorland Minerals?
Yeah, sure thing. So Kenorland is a project generation company. We're really focused on early stage exploration across North America. We're currently exploring in Quebec, Ontario, Manitoba, and Alaska. We have a number of partnerships with other major mining companies, including Sumitomo Metal Mining, Newmont, Centerra, and Antofagasta. And project generation is really the name of the game, which is a lower risk business model in the exploration space. I'd say our downside is pretty limited. And of course, the opportunities for new discoveries and value creation is probably larger than most companies, just due to the size of our portfolio and the amount we're exploring and the number of targets we're testing every year. So it's kind of an overview.
Yeah, it's a great business model, one that I have employed into my personal portfolio and one that I cover in the newsletter because, like you said, the downside risk is that much more minimized, especially when you're with good explorers like yourself and your team.
Yes.
Why don't we start with Frotet? That's your grassroots discovery. That is basically when you became public, that's what you moved forward with.
Mm-hmm.
So talk about Frotet and where you're headed with that JV with Sumitomo.
Yeah, so that's kind of our flagship. Even though we have minority interest, I think minority interest in a big gold discovery is worth a lot of value, and I think we can show that for shareholders in the coming years. But we, just to give you a little history about the project, we staked it in 2017, and mind you, Kenorland formed in 2016, and we were private until 2020, which is when we made the initial discovery on the Frotet project of Renault, which is the name of the gold system there. So in 2017, we staked the project. 2018, we brought in Sumitomo Metal Mining as our partner, and they began funding the exploration, and we've been operator ever since then. We spent 2 years of doing systematic geochemical exploration across about 56,000 hectares of greenstone belt. And we found an area of highly anomalous till and followed up with the initial drill program in 2020. And that's when we intersected the Renault gold system, which is a high-grade vein-hosted Archean gold system. And since 2020, we put 160 drill holes into it, about 56,000 meters of drilling, and it's moving forward rapidly. This first quarter, we're going to drill another 25,000 meters, so that's going to be a big step in the total number of meters going into the discovery there. And there will be continued drilling in the summer as well. So, I think it's a fantastic gold discovery. It's well recognized across our industry. Perhaps maybe not the general retail audience yet, but these things take time. They grow. They don't happen overnight. In terms of realization of how significant something is. But all the indications kind of point to this being a pretty serious gold system, and I know Sumitomo is excited about pushing this forward as well.
Mm. A piece of news you guys put out a couple of weeks ago talked about your joint venture with Barrick on South Uchi. And at first glance, I think investors might have looked at the news release and thought, oh, you know what, Barrick leaving this JV or dropping the JV is a negative thing. But for those that read closer, I think there was a lot of positives. In fact, maybe it's a blessing in disguise in some cases, considering what you did find. So can you give us more detail on that?
Yes, so we were working with Barrick in the Red Lake District on our South Uchi project. They were the operator on that project, which is generally we're the operator on most of our partner-funded exploration. So they spent 2 years doing systematic till sampling there, so very much same flavor of exploration as we're used to as well. They didn't like what they saw in terms of the gold results, so they've stepped away from the project, and we now retain it on a 100% basis. But what we did find is throughout that geochemical exploration is a huge base metal anomaly, nickel, copper, and cobalt, as well as a number of lithium and cesium anomalies as well. It's not really our main focus to go after lithium in terms of our exploration strategy, but there were some companies nearby who are very aggressively pursuing lithium exploration, including GT1, They have, the Root Lake and Macomb deposit, which is just a stone's throw from our property boundary. So, no, it's I think it's sometimes this happens where, you'll go out and screen a huge area and you might not find what you're initially looking for, but other things kind of crop up. So, no, there's a lot of interest in that area now, and I think this is the benefit of Kenorland is that's just one of many projects and one area of 1.3 million hectares of ground that has been seeing systematic exploration, and you turn over enough ground, you sample enough large areas, and there's bound to be more anomalies, and eventually one of those will lead to another discovery somewhere. So I think all in all it's positive, and we'll keep moving forward.
Yeah, no, and you did bring up a good point. You've got an extensive portfolio. You've got a list of arguably the best senior majors to kind of do deals with, exploring on your properties. Let's move to Alaska. The Tanacross Project, Antofagasta. What's going to happen in 2023?
We'll see. We don't have any approved budget yet, but we're eyeing a pretty significant drill program. I can't really put any numbers out yet, but let's just say, if it does get approved, it'll be testing most of the targets that we'd like to test up there. Last year we had a really big summer it was a comprehensive kind of exploration program where we hit it hard with geophysics and geochemistry and geologic mapping as well. So we've taken all that data over the winter and really churned through it and come up with some really exciting targets, and hopefully we'll be up there testing those this year in the summer. So that could be another potential catalyst for the company is drill results from that project, and that's one of 4 drill programs that we see potentially being carried out this year, alongside a Renault and a couple others on the portfolio as well.
Excellent. And so do you think that the total spend from the JV partners is going to be over 20 million?
Yeah, definitely. I think we'll be kind of 25 to potentially 30 million in partner-funded exploration expenditures this year. And then you add on top of that, Kenorland sole-funded exploration could be somewhere like between $2.5 or $3 million. So overall, we're looking probably north of 30 million across the portfolio, and that's a lot of exploration, especially on the early stage side. So that's exciting.
Absolutely. From my point of view, the exploration is definitely about getting more kicks at the can. And I don't know about a better business model than the prospect generator model to allow investors to get exposure to that. In my view, Kenorland Minerals is at the top of this model of doing business. And like Zach said, you're getting $30 million of exploration work over the next year. And I don't know where else you can kind of look at that from a junior company. So Kenorland is a big part of my portfolio, and I'm very happy to have it ranked as a top exploration company in the junior stock review premium portfolio. Thank you very much, guys.